Today, we're going to visit with Texas singer, songwriter, entertainer, a little bit of everything. We'll talk Jesse Daniel, got a brand new single to talk about. And first off, Jesse, it's a privilege to have the chance to visit with you. And thanks for taking the time, brother.
Absolutely, Cameron. Thanks for having me on, man.
Now, tell us, where did Lookin Back, where did this single for you, where did this one come from?
That song was really inspired by just kind of a retrospective kind of song, looking back on your life. Everybody's been there, I feel like, where they've had either a relationship or a friendship or some type of decision that they've made in one of those things where they feel like they could have done something different. And that song is kind of somewhat of a fictional, story about a gentleman who, basically drives his wife to leave him, and then he's looking back years later wondering if it could have been different. But the song actually came to be my good friend Nick Foster. He's a great songwriter, and he was on the road with us for a while we were touring with Jason Boland. And we did a whole bunch of dates with Boland, and so we were on this West Coast tour, and we were heading back. We were in Colorado, and that's when the stay-at-home orders came down in 2020, so we all had to pack it up and go home. And we had a lot of time, in those weeks that Nick was still staying with us to wonder what the heck was going on and to write, and so we just kind of used that time, and we came out with this song in that time.
Now, how has the songwriting been for you? That's something I love talking to songwriters, is how this last couple of years has been. Has it been better for you because you've had the extra time, or has that led to some writer's block, obviously?
I'd say a little bit of both, man. It's been kind of both, truly. I think in the beginning it was nice, to have the time. We usually are on the road quite a bit, and so it's a little bit harder when it's just go to be able to get into that creative headspace. But I was able to take a lot of the ideas that I kind of had for quite a while, in the notes on my phone, or stuff that I had written down, and really kind of put pen to paper and turn those ideas into songs. And so for that reason, it was really good. But then after a while, when things were still shut down after a few months, we were kind of all looking around like, when is this gonna stop? When are we going to be able to get back to it? And I think that's kind of when some of the, I guess you'd call it writer's block, would come in. But, I would do other things that kind of take my mind off of that. And songwriting, I can always kind of come back to. It just sometimes takes a little while.
Now, when did songwriting start for you? How long has the songwriting journey been for you?
I started writing songs and short stories and poems and stuff like that when I was a kid. I was really young, probably, 6 or 7 years old. And I always used to, have a pretty wild imagination. So I was always writing wild stories and stuff like that. And it just kind of, grew as I grew into an adult. It kind of turned into something that became an outlet for me, and sort of a cathartic thing to get through stuff. And I started using it in that way. And that's when I really took to it, and started writing more often, and kind of writing country songs. That's always what I've had a passion for. So.
Now, who were the early influences, the ones that really inspired your sound and also the writing for you as well?
I'd say, probably top of the list for me would be Merle Haggard. He's, just one of my all-time favorites. And his songwriting, his voice, his song selection, even on the songs that he covered and everything, he doesn't get any better to me, and is a huge inspiration. But also just the fact that I grew up in a small town in California, just like he did, so when I found out that here's this guy from my home state who was such a huge part of that history, and that really just kind of made it for me, and solidified him as probably my biggest influence. But songwriters wise, I love the Texas. I've listened for years to all the Texas guys, some of the older guys like, Guy Clark and Townes Van Zandt. Big Robert Earl Keen fan also. So it kind of just goes from country to songwriter and back and forth, you know.
Now, for you to see the reinvigoration of classic country, that sound getting kind of a revamp, how cool is it to be a part of the new era of that, if you will?
Oh man, it's incredible. Really, it's definitely experiencing a revamp, like you just said. That's a perfect way to put it. I think that you know, the pendulum always swings, you know, back and forth, and things will go more to one side, more to the other. And I think that for a long time, it's kind of been, obviously in Nashville, there's been a lot more like pop stuff for, you know, the past 10, 15, 20 years. But it's really nice to see guys, you know, coming out with stuff that is more along the traditional country lines, that are getting radio play, you know, that are getting their stuff heard on major, you know, mainstream radio stations now. And there's an interest for it now. Like we just mentioned earlier, in shows like Yellowstone, you know, they're playing all this music and getting it exposed to so many people. And so I think there's kind of a reinstated interest in classic country and, you know, more traditional sounds.
And you mentioned Yellowstone, 1883, and a lot of other filming taking place in Texas and Oklahoma, and has that country theme. I mean, we've got to get the music more involved in that too, right?
Oh yeah, I think so, man. I'd love to get involved with it. That's for sure.
He said, put my number scrolling on the bottom, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, because of what we've all seen these last couple of years, Jesse, how do you look ahead to 2022 differently than you did 2021 and even 2020?
You know, this year, I think it was a lot different in the past. You know, looking at 2020 from 2019, we had high hopes, and then we went into that year and everything got kind of turned on its head. And so going into 2021, we were pretty, you know, cautiously optimistic, but didn't really know what was going to happen. And we actually got to tour quite a bit in 2021 and get back on the road a lot. So this year, I think it's going to be, you know, with its ups and downs. I know not everything is completely fixed yet, but I think that it's going to be a great year. You know, I feel like with that resurgence of, you know, the interest in country music and in, you know, just good music in general, I think that there's a lot of people coming out to these shows, and folks are kind of starved for this right now. It's been a weird couple years for live music, so I think it's going to come back with a bang, you know?
Yeah, you know, people will always be like, when was the last show you've been to? And I was like,
sure.
You know, it was always like, oh, it was a couple of weeks ago. It's been a while since I've been at an actual big event. And that is something we all have missed. And how cool is it for you whenever you get to go out on the road? And for some places, it's got to be the only time they've had somebody out there playing live. How cool is that to get that excitement back from the fans as well?
There's nothing like it, man. I love it. I kind of live for that feeling, you know, and we got to see, you know, the crowd reaction really from getting to go back out on the road in 2021. And we didn't get to do barely any touring in 2022, at least the later half of it. I'm sorry, 2020. I'm getting my years mixed up. And so when we went out on the road in 2021, it was good to see people coming out to the shows, and we played a lot of places that, you know, we hadn't been, or that we'd only played once or twice before. And we had a lot of sold out shows. We had a lot of people coming out and singing the lyrics. And I think that was kind of one thing that the whole lockdown and everything was good for with the music, is it gave the people kind of a time to really hunker down with that record and, you know, with their favorite artists' new records that they're coming out with, and really learn those songs and get fired up for whenever they got to go sing them at the show, you know?
Now, how much did you have to grow the social media technology and all that? How much did you have to really delve into getting more comfortable with all of those different things this last couple of years as well?
That's funny. I was just talking with my partner Jody about that. It's funny. I'm kind of a caveman when it comes to a lot of technology. You know, I know how to work an iPhone and I know how to work on a computer a little bit, but when it comes to Zoom. Like, this is a fairly new thing for me and stuff like that. But it's been great, honestly, to get to know that stuff, because I think that's just where we're headed, and I got to get with the times, So I'm glad that I've kind of had the push to make me do that,
Now, who are the artists that you're going out with, that you're playing alongside of, that inspire you, that kind of give you that little nudge, if you will?
Oh, some of the guys that we've toured with, I got to say, probably one of the coolest artists bands that we've gotten to do some shows with and play with has been Mike and the Moon Pies. They're just a great band, great guys, and I think they're some of the best to be making, that more traditional country sound right now. So they're probably top of the list for me. We've also got to do some stuff with Flatland Cavalry. They're also really solid people, great band. There's just so much good stuff coming out right now, man. It's pretty cool to see.
And to be a part of it too. That's got to be even the icing on the cake, if you will.
It is. Yeah. It feels very special to be, doing what we're doing at this time, and to be alive at this time, to see this kind of era of music happening right now. And like you said, to be a part of it, I'm very, very thankful.
Now, Jesse, I know you mentioned that you had your guitar there with you. I didn't know if you wanted to strum a tune or something for our listeners.
Yeah, I'd be happy to, man. Got it. Can you hear me all right? Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and play you a song off of the new record. This one's called Clayton Was a Cowboy. Clayton was a cowboy from Branson, Colorado. He never had a drink he didn't like. And every chance that he would get, he'd turn it up full throttle. I guess that's just the way old Clayton liked to live his life. His mama always told him not to worship any idols. Putting faith in man will almost always let you down. He was driving across the country, he was winning all the titles, breaking hearts along the way and living town to town. But out west of the Rockies, up in Northern California, through the riding and the roping, a young lady caught his eye. She asked him, would you like to dance? And he said, I've got to warn ya, I was born with 2 left feet, I can give it my best try. Nothing good lasts forever, doesn't mean you shouldn't try. They say it's better late than never, hell can wait until tomorrow, he's got one more bull to ride. All right. He pulled into a rodeo somewhere in Oklahoma. The wind was blowing strong and kicked the dust into his eyes. He walked into a field that smelled flowers, sweet aroma. Said a cowboy's prayer and then he looked up to the sky. They paired him with an angry bull whose name was El Diablo. Tied the rope down tight, then the gate swung open wide. He bucked him offside, but his hand just wouldn't let go. Clowns all tried to save him as the crowd looked on and fried. Nothing good lasts forever, doesn't mean you shouldn't try. They say it's better late than never, hell can wait until tomorrow, he's got one more bull to ride. somber wave of silence swept over the arena as Clayton lay there dying on the cold and dirty ground. 'Cause Clayton was a cowboy from Branson, Colorado. His rambling days are over, this old cowboy's homeward bound. All right.
That's good stuff, brother. That's good stuff.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Now, Jesse, if folks want to keep up with tour dates, upcoming singles, social media, everything, where's the best place for listeners to keep up with everything you got?
You can go ahead and go to jessedanielmusic.com, and you can find tour dates, music. You can buy records and other merch and all kinds of stuff on there. And then we're on all the social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. It's just at The Jesse Daniel. The Jesse Daniel. Try to keep it simple for myself and everybody else.
And yeah, I understand that completely. Got to try to keep it all as close as you can.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Jesse, I appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule this evening, brother. I hopefully we'll catch up during 2022 when you make it into Southwest Oklahoma, brother.
Most definitely, Cameron. I'm looking forward to doing that, and we'll be seeing you soon. Appreciate you having me on.